So we're ready to finalize our denture that's supported by, in this case, 4 O-ball implants. And so when the patient comes back to finalize, we're going to actually take the denture, remove and clear the acrylic from where the O-ball attachments are going to be placed, the encapsulator rings. And so we can do that with our burr, acrylic burr, and we can start the process by using a soft tissue marker, the Thompson marker. We're going to start the process by marking up each O-ball head. Now, we've already pretty much scooped that out when we placed our soft liner on there. It's clearance for the soft liner. But this time, so we're going to do the same thing when the encapsulator, the housing, is on the implant, and also the spacer. So why do we use the spacer? Is to prevent the flow from the impression material into the unnecessary areas of the denture. So we'll have our 3.0, 3.25 encapsulator housings, and then inside the housing we'll have the O-ring that complements the housing, not to be confused with the spacer O-ring that we use to prevent the impression paste from flowing around the denture. So we'll place that on the patient. Each implant will have the spacer around the O-ball. And you'll feel that snap onto that O-ball head. So in this case, we want to make sure we have enough clearance in the denture for each encapsulator housing. So we'll mark each surface of the encapsulator while it's in the patient's mouth and mark it up on the denture until we get clearance. You don't want any rocking, so you want to kind of feel that it's in position. Okay. So again, that's going to be removed with your acrylic burr. And clear that up. And so now we're going to be ready for our impression. A medium-based vinyl polysiloxane PVS material. My lab likes to use an Omniflex material. It's a more stiffer material. It's one of those sulfur-based materials. And what we'll do is we're going to be lining each area that we cleared in the denture. So that we could place it on each of the encapsulators. Because it's a clear model, you can actually see its positioning on the other side and how it's flowing beyond the spacers. Okay. So now we're ready to take the impression out from the patient's mouth. And the encapsulators usually will not get into the impression. So what we'll have to do is we'll place each of the encapsulators into the impression. Now, this part here, you can actually just send everything to the lab and they'll do this for you. You're going to feel around there to make sure that everything it's in position. You'll get your analog. Along with the analog, we have the encapsulator first, and then we have the spacer, and then the analog. That's to stabilize the analog from displacing laterally. This will give you a more accurate impression if you're taking the impression with the encapsulator ring. Encapsulator housing, along with the spacer O-ring, the red spacer O-ring. So that's what you'll be giving to the lab, and it's ready to finalize with all the tools necessary to do that.